So, my name is Eric Harris, and I am a Qigong practitioner, an Asian body therapist, Chinese herbalist, an energy healer. I work with a lot of different modalities. I work with medicinal aromatherapy, crystal healing, some sound healing, and I'm also a Reiki practitioner, among other things. So those are like some of my titles and what I do. But all of what I work with, I've used to heal myself from chronic inflammation and disease. I've actually had some issues with my spine, and that's kind of what got me into holistic medicine. And it's been quite a journey. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about some Chinese herbs, and also one of my other passions is foraging for wild medicine. So foraging for wild plants and mushrooms. I got into that when I was in college, so in 2001. I had a teacher of primitive skills where I learned like fire by friction and Native American practices, sweat lodges, and all different stuff. And that's when it kind of first opened my world truly to wild medicine around me. I've always been connected to nature, but that teacher was like, wow, just look at the world around you and look at all the medicine the world has to offer. So I've been really into that, and that's why I make my own tinctures out of the wild medicine that I forage for, some of the stuff I grow in my garden too. But so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but the purpose of what I want to talk about now that it's still warm outside, we're heading into the colder months, and a lot of people, this is another allergy season for people, especially with ragweed and different, hay fever issues. And then, we'll be heading into the colder months of the year where we have the colds and the flus and all that stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some herbs that you can use to, prevent those things from happening and treat, if those things do occur. So I want to start with some of my tinctures. I just came up with this tonic. Some of these are going to be like always evolving depending on what I get and what I have intuitively called to put in these. But all of my tinctures I use non-GMO vegetable glycerin, mostly coconut derived. I got into making tinctures because my wife also has an autoimmune disease and stuff, and so we've done a lot of healing work together and stuff, and all the alcohol tinctures I didn't like at all. Like, they didn't agree with us. I didn't like the taste, I didn't like the energy of it, and it was actually harder to find glycerin tinctures and stuff. And I said, well, I'm collecting all this stuff anyways, I'm just going to start making it, and I'm just going to find a good source of vegetable glycerin. And it's the second best solvent to extract the medicine. It doesn't pull out as much as alcohol, and the alcohol tinctures will last forever, whereas glycerin tinctures last about 2 years. But I've never had a glycerin tincture go bad because I use them, and they taste a whole lot better too. They taste very sweet. So this tincture I have is called an Allergy Tonic. So it has stinging nettles that I harvested in the spring, and stinging nettles I call is like nature's antihistamine. It actually helps to balance the histamine levels in your body. It has an amazing anti-inflammatory response. It's a great nervine, and it's also a great source of calcium and iron and phytonutrients. It's like a really amazing plant. I always harvest them with gloves because they do sting a little bit, but when you cook them or dry them out, that sting goes away. So, and little sting's actually good for you too. It's good for your immune system. So, and then I put some reishi mushroom, which is one of my favorite mushrooms to get in the wild. It's good for so many things. It's historically in Chinese medicine, thousands of years ago, you would see the emperors holding these mushrooms, and it was called the elixir of immortality and all this stuff. And it's used to tonify the spleens, used to detoxify the liver. It's really great for skin conditions. It's great for the immune system. It's great for the lungs. It's like really good for like everything. It hits like almost all the 5 elements in Chinese medicine. So I really like using that. Really great to boost the immune system. And then I also have astragalus root. Okay, and astragalus root is a Chinese herb called huan qi, and that is the best herb to boost your wei qi. Okay, and your wei qi in Chinese medicine is your basically your protection, your protective layer. And your Wei Qi resides in your lungs, okay? And astragalus root is like the best herb to boost your Wei Qi, keep your immune system strong, and tonify your lungs. And so, because really allergy, symptoms and, suffering from allergies, the root cause is an immune system deficiency. So the more you boost up the immune system and build up your protective, layer, the allergies aren't going to bother you. So that's why I came up with this, and I thought it's good to share. And it's really worked. I've used it with a bunch of people. So the next tincture I have is my immunity tonic, and that, I use this a lot in the winter. As soon as it starts getting cold, I've already started taking it. I like to preemptively start to build up these things. So this has elderberries, and elderberries is like the best antiviral. It is like just as effective or more effective than like Tamiflu. So, and it's got a great source of vitamin C, vitamin A, antioxidants, and I also have some reishi mushroom in here. I like to sprinkle my reishi wherever I can. I have some lemon balm. Lemon balm is also a great antiviral, a great nervine. It's very calming too. It's one of the things it's used for. And I have rose hips. I get them this time of year. I go down to the beach and harvest them. And rose hips is an amazing source of vitamin C. And like 3 rose hips is just as much vitamin C as a small orange. So it's really powerful. So that's what I formulated with this. It's really effective. I take it throughout the whole winter. Does anybody have any questions? I can keep talking. So I'm trying to pay attention to the time. So. All right. So, as like a, crash course in Chinese medicine, there are the theory of yin and yang, right? That we all kind of have an abstract, might not all have, but the abstract idea of yin and yang is yin is darkness and yang is light. Okay, yang is cold, yin is hot, and that is one way that we kind of look at the body. I mean, we follow the 5 elemental theory and the 8 principles, and that's by, checking the tongue and the pulses and telling us what's going on with the internal organ systems. And that's, what we do as Chinese herbalists and acupuncturists and any Chinese medicine practitioner. But I like to break it down for people that, we have symptoms of cold or hot in our body, and it changes from time to time. And as it pertains to sickness, what we call, like when you get the common cold, it's can usually be broken down whether it be a wind cold or a wind heat, okay? And so if you have a wind cold, that means you're going to have a lot of cold symptoms in your body. You're going to be sniffly, you're going to get the shivers and, dull aches, okay? And so the common sense thing to do is that you need some warming herbs to clear out that cold, really get it to your core, all right? And so one herb that I like to use in the fall too is called guizhi, and guizhi is Chinese cinnamon twig, okay? And cinnamon twig actually brings energy to your extremities through your meridians, so down through your arms, through your legs. It helps to bring heat to the surface externally. Cinnamon bark that we commonly know it brings heat to your core, to your trunk, okay? So that's the main herb for this, it's called cinnamon twig decoction, but it has some other herbs that are really great, for that warming and also for that clearing action. So we call this like for clearing wind. So like I've taken this at like the first sign of like any type of feeling of like a sniffle or like you get cold sensation, and like to prevent sickness from happening. What a lot of us don't realize is all cold, virus, allergy, anything external from your body comes in through what is called your wind gate. So it's right back here. This point is called gallbladder 20. Okay, and they call this the moat, like the Chinese meaning is like the moat that's around the castle. Okay, and it's like Feng Fen, I believe is the Chinese name, and so it's like again another protective area. So I think it's very beneficial to start working this point too. You go right, it's right below your ear. You go to the mastoid process if you're occipital. And you're massaging. Yeah, you start massaging it, and it's nice to kind of hold your fingers around and then kind of push in with your thumbs. That's like the best way.
That helps me with headaches.
Yeah, it does.
Really good with headaches.
Yeah.
Very good with headaches. Really good with sinuses. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's why you always want to protect the back of your neck. It's really good to wear a scarf or a hat. Like, and you know, I don't have a lot of hair, so I'm always, as soon as it starts getting cold, I always make sure I have a hat with me and protect the back of my neck.
I was under air conditioning on Friday, and then I developed a sore throat.
So
2
that's,
days later.
yeah, so the wind came external to internal. So it's a very common thing. So if you had that sore throat, you could take this right away, that cinnamon twig, right away, and see if it would clear it out, you know? So, well, let me look at your tongue after, before you, yeah. But, yeah. So I have some other formulas. This is a company I've been using. It's called Khan, but I really also like Sun 10 is another good company I work with, and I also actually have the ability to go through a custom pharmacy to make custom herb blends for clients too. So that's out in California. So these are some traditional formulas. The most common formula for a wind heat is called Yin Chow. Okay, and Yin Chow is so signs of wind heat would be fever, redness in your face. You have more sharp pain. You actually have a lot of times usually less of nasal discharge and stuff. There's like a whole line of symptoms, but really you're feeling really warm. You know, like so you're having that opposite sensation of that wind cold where you're shivering to the bone. When heat, you're like taking all your clothes off. So, well, that's a whole nother thing, but, you know, that's for another time. But, the chief ingredient in this, and when you look at a Chinese herbal formula, the first herb is always what has the highest concentration of that herb in the formula is honeysuckle flower. And so tonight I actually brought the tea. I made oolong tea, a wild oolong tea with honeysuckle flowers that I harvest from my yard in the spring. So that's when those come up. So, and that's Jin Yin Hua is the name of that, the Chinese herb, and that is really great for clearing heat, really great for a sore throat. So look, if you're starting to get warm, like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if your symptoms have changed to more of a wind heat, this might be a better formula because it also has some other real cooling herbs like Chinese mint. It has, this one doesn't have chrysanthemum. Oh, that one's got chrysanthemum. Okay. But it's got some other really, really cooling herbs, stuff to bring that heat down. Yeah, platycodon root. Yep, burdock fruit. Yep. So it just shows you just how a little bit of how we use these symptoms. I mean, use Chinese medicine to alleviate the symptoms and use these herbs, for these different conditions, whether it be wind cold or wind heat. So I use these a lot in the winter time. So, and if like someone's got a really bad flu, then I use this formula called Zhonggang Ling. And this one's like for even, like Yin Chow a lot of times is more for like a really bad cold, but like someone's got a really bad flu, I would use Zhonggang Ling. So, and it's got some isatis in it, which I'm going to talk about a little bit. But yeah, it's got some really good herbs to like clear away that heat. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes you wonder, like, what are you going to do? We're exposed to all of these things in the winter time, going in and out of these buildings, interacting with people. Well, this formula, antiphlogistic, is one of the best formulas that you can take if you think you've been exposed to sickness. Like, you might not have gotten the sniffle or anything yet, but like maybe you're around somebody that was sneezing or coughing or you know what I mean? So, and it's got isatis in it, that herb I was talking about. Isatis is one of the number one antiviral herbs, and it helps to clear that from getting through your field, through your wind gate, okay? And the andrographis herb also, really good to protect from the flu and any virus. And it's got some dandelion as well, so.
Is that all within that?
That's all. It's just 3 herbs. So that means there's a very strong concentration of each herb, and that's what you want. You want to take this a loading dose. You want to blast it out. Like you would maybe take like 3 of these pills right away. If you just had someone like sneeze all over you, or shake your hand with.
She works with children's.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, it's a good one to have. I got a client that's a doctor, and she keeps that in her purse, and I say, and then she'll come to me, oh, I got sick. I'm like, did you take the anti-phlogistic? Oh, I forgot. Well, there you go. Remember to take that. So then these last two are going back a little bit to the allergies. So these are some formulas that I give for allergies. So this is the chief formula that I use. It's called Fragrant Jade, okay? And so this, a lot of times with allergies, is that wind's coming in, it's affecting you. You're getting into your sinuses, your throat, your eyes, you're getting the itchy eyes and all those different, maybe even itchy ears, So this one has astragalus root as the chief herb to help boost that immune system, but it's got psyllar root, it's got magnolia flowers, really good for the throat, fragrant angelica, so any fragrant herb is really gonna open up the sinuses, and then it's got the Chinese mint, very cooling. So just to kind of tell you a little bit about what's in it and what that's for. So I do sell these a lot in the spring and the fall. So, and it really helps to just drain things away. So I have some other herbs that are even more specific for that, like if you have a sinus infection and really, a lot of congestion, but that's like the best formula for allergies. So then this last one is called Jade Windscreen. So this is one that you can take like before the allergy symptoms affect you. That one you take like when you're already, having the symptoms, itching and everything, right? But so again, it says astragalus root is that main herb. It's also got the psyllar root to clear wind. It's got the cinnamon twig to help bring it to the extremities. So just some of the herbs that are in it. So that's what the Jade Windscreen is all about. So I tell people that are allergy sufferers, like, in the fall, okay, we really want to start taking this in August. Or, if it's going to come around in April and May for you, like you might want to start taking this in March, to help build up your immune system, protect it from affecting you. So those are some of the formulas I work with and some of the tinctures. And, I can do a lot of other things for people, one-on-one and, between, the acupressure and fire cupping and put ear seeds and aromatherapy and all different other stuff, for these particular symptoms. But these are some of the herbs that I work with and that I like to share with people. So.
Are there any side effects of any of these?
Not really, actually. No, not really of these. If someone has a spleen deficiency, maybe some of the cooling herbs, like if someone is really cold. But that's the beauty of Chinese herbal formulas. Most of the time they're very balanced and they have other herbs that can counteract some negative side effects. So there's really not, with these herbs, I don't see a lot of contraindications. There's some other Chinese herbs that, like if someone has blood thinners or certain, heart medications, it's to be cautious, but these, no, I don't think so. And definitely not the tinctures. The tinctures are totally, anybody can take them, even kids. And I give it to my dog too. So yeah, he gets some drops in his food. So, yeah. He gets his own. There's actually a line of the formulas for dogs too. So I crush them up in a mortar and pestle every day and give them to him. So yeah, he actually had a tumor on his throat. He's 10 years old, and in February he developed a tumor, and we're not sure if it's cancerous or not, but I didn't feel like going and poking around at him, so I just said I'm just going to treat him how I would, and I've been giving him a bunch of tinctures and honey and all this stuff, and the tumor is like barely recognizable, so, and he's got no issues, so yeah, so I'd rather do that than start poking around and spreading things around. I'm like, if he's got cancer, all right, we'll deal with it. He's 10 years old. We need it. So, but yeah. So I'm at about 20 minutes. How'd I do?
Fabulous.
All right, good.